Good afternoon, everyone. It's honor to talk about one of the most exciting shifts in our energy journey, that is green hydrogen. As already speakers announced my introductions, so I just skip this slide. Today I will walk you through three things. First is why green hydrogen matters now. Second, we will see different electrolyzer technologies. Then last, we will see what the techno-economic tells us about scaling this in India. So why green hydrogen is so important in today's world? Let's understand. First is energy security. So India imports around 1.36 million tons of ammonia, but $982 millions. Green hydrogen offers a domestic alternative, cutting import dependence. Second is decarbonization of the key sectors. No doubtedly, electrification consistently stands out most cost-effective choice. However, hydrogen emerges in the sectors where electrification is challenging, or we can say hard to decarbonize the sector. For an example, if refinery sector, hydrocracking needs hydrogen. In a fertilizer sector, ammonia production relies on the hydrogen. In a steel sector, greater than 1500 degrees Celsius, hydrogen cannot be achieved by electricity alone. And if we are talking about the transport sector, then trucks, ships, planes requires high energy density fuel that batteries cannot yet provide. Third is economic growth and jobs. Hydrogen investment drive green jobs and attract global and productive funding. Fourth is green hydrogen export. As India's aim to become the global leader in the green hydrogen sector, so out of 5 million metric ton, already 48 projects have already been announced that out of 5 million metric ton, we can export 3.5 million metric to the other countries. Fourth is renewable integration. Green hydrogen converts surplus renewable electricity into hydrogen, which can be stored and used later, and it reducing curtailment and supporting grid stability. And last, of course, India's 2.4 billion green hydrogen mission and a global support, World Bank, ADB, ZIZ drive project development. Let's dive into the different electrolyzer technologies. Let me quickly show you how an electrolyzer system is structured. The core part of the electrolyzer, that is stake, lie in the system level. The BOP, the several equipment is associated with it. For an example, if stake needs DC power, so rectifier converts AC power to DC power. If we are talking about the separator, so there are two separator used in it. One is from the H2 side separator and other is from the O2 side separator. It separate the gas and vent it out to the system. If we are talking about the DI water handling systems, then it filters and conditions waters to maintain its quality optimal electrolysis solutions. If we are talking about the H2 dryer, it removes the moisture from the hydrogen gas to ensure it is dry before it is sent to supply line. If we are talking about the stake level, it consists of a multiple cells. It adjacent cells are connected electrically in series, consist of cells and plates, supporting frames, circulation channels, gaskets. Gaskets are is something like it is prevents the gas mixing. In the cell level, core components are the bipolar plate. It is situated between the cells, anode, cathode, porous transport layer. Porous transport layer it is like a sponge. It makes sure the water reaches electrocatalyst uniformly, gases flow out smoothly, and electrons moves efficiently. So this is responsible for that thing. Let's dive into different electrolyzers. If we are talking about the alkaline electrolyzer, this is one of the most mature and developed technology. Second, low cost nickel based catalyst they have. It has a lower cost of production, around 800 to $1,000 per kilowatt. It has estimated lifetime is 80,000 hours, but challenges they are facing its medium efficiency, 52 to 55 kilowatt per kilogram of hydrogen. Low current density, it has less than zero point 0.5 ampere per centimeter square. It has a high minimal load and slow ramp up and ramp down times cannot be used directly with the renewable energy sources. It has a low hydrogen purity and it dependent on the one membrane supplier, that is Girfon by Avca. If we are talking about the PEM electrolyzer, so whatever the challenges associated with the alkaline electrolyzer, it is overcome by the PEM electrolyzer. So what does the advantage of PEM electrolyzer is that it has a high efficiency, 48 to 50 kilowatt hour per kilogram. It has a low minimal load, fast ramp up and ramp down times, can be used with the renewable energy sources. It has a high purity of hydrogen. It has an estimated lifetime greater than 60,000 hours, but it has a current density 1.5 to 2 ampere centimeter square, and it has a compact design. But what are the challenges associated with it? It has a higher capex cost, around $1,500 to $2,000 per kilowatt. It depended on the one membrane supplier, that is Nafian, and it used rare earth materials like platinum and iridium, and it requires ultra pure water. I want to highlight that why eliminates the rare earth materials is required. If we are talking about the platinum, its market price is $30,000 per kilogram, and it is increasing day by day. Only 244 tons produced by end of 2021. Current global meets only 40% of the demand. It means 5 out of 12 months. Most of what is produced is already looked by China, so very little is left for other countries. This creates a supply chain. 65% platinum mining in South Africa, and it is refining controlled by China. If we are talking about the iridium, then its market price is $158,000 per kilogram, and it is increased 140% year on year. Only 8 tons produced in 2021, and demand is expected to double next 1.5 to 2 years. And again, it is 95% is being sourced by South Africa, but refining is controlled by the China. So technologies like PEM rely on rare earth materials, which creates a risk of supply chain dependence and cost excellence. That is why alternative technologies and indigenous are so important. So here H2E was all electrolyzer technologies, but our focus on indigenous innovation and cost reduction in MSA and SOE technology. So our SOE technology can generate both hydrogen, and through co-electrolysis, it can generate syngas. You can use that syngas in the Fischer-Tropsch method. You can use in the sustainable aviation fuel. You can use also produce ethanol and methanol, and can use in the different industries. Let me tell you about the electrolyzer manufacturing market. So, right now, our total addressable market, if we are talking about the electrolyzer in the global world, is around 62 gigawatt per year. The leading countries are North America, China, Europe. India's serviceable achievable market is around 3 gigawatt per year from 2024 to 2030, based on the national target. The serviceable obtained market by the H2A, we proud to say that in the site program in tranche 1, we have awarded 101.5 megawatt electrolyzer manufacturing capacity based on indigenous developed stake technology. So we are working on the MSA technology. It's an alkaline membrane solid electrolyzer. So it combines the best of both alkaline and PEM. It has a cheaper components, lower cost. AMSA uses alkaline type membranes and non-precious metal catalyst like nickel and cobalt. Unlike PEM, which requires expensive noble metals, platinum and iridium. This drastically lowers capital cost and makes large-scale deployment and more affordable. It also gives the high pressure hydrogen. No extra compression is required. Like PEM, AMSA can directly produce high pressure hydrogen up to 30 bar or more. This avoids the needs for the separate compression units, saving cost, space, and energy. Third is it produce the high purity of hydrogen. So you can directly use in the fuel cells, industry, etc. And last, it's combining actually best of both of world. So what it takes the advantage from the alkaline is that cost effective materials and long lifetime. From PEM, it takes the advantages of more compact design, high pressure, high purity hydrogen. So NC merges this strength into one system. I wanted to highlight that H2E, we have already India's first successful SOEC project we have done with the HPCL. With the technology, we have given 20 kilowatt. So what we have done, the challenges is the conventional electrolyzer consumes a lot of electrolysis. Steam electrolysis, on the other hand, achieves much higher efficiency than alkaline and PEM systems. What our solution is that we have given 20 kilowatt SOEC solid oxide electrolyzer that generate zero point 0.5 kilogram hydrogen per hour, and it can generate 10.8 kilogram per day. The specific energy consumptions, we got 44.44 kilowatt hour per day. We integrated at HPCL R&D site. What impacts is that India's first SOEC deployment, 90% efficiency tested it more than 5,000 hours, and we sets the benchmark for the industrial hydrogen tech. Let me tell you the 10 techno-economic pathways for the green hydrogen production. For that, we need to understand that levelized cost of hydrogen depends on the five factors: renewable energy price, electrolyzer price, specific energy consumption, capacity utilization factor, and how you scale up the project. So many have some dependent variables and independent variables are there, like electrolyzer capex depends on the technology, size of the system, cost of the electrolyzer per year. It depends on the electrolyzer life, discount rate. If we are talking about the cost of renewable energies, it similarly depends on the technology, size of the system, location, irradiance. Production rate of the hydrogen depends on the specific energy consumptions, capacity of the electrolyzer, and some of the independent variables also. There's like electrolyzer life, specific energy consumption, discount rate. So what I have done, I did the data analytics from 1 megawatt to 1 gigawatt of electrolyzer and come to know that at what renewable energy prices we can competitive with the gray hydrogen prices. If we are talking about the gray hydrogen price right now, it's around 160 to 200 rupees per kilogram. So it's around $2 per uh, $2 per kilogram of hydrogen. If we are talking about the green hydrogen, the IOCL has recently given awarded L&T at price of green hydrogen for their Panipat refineries around 350 to 400 rupees per kilogram of hydrogen. So what I have done, if your electrolyzer price is 5 rupees per kilowatt hour, even if your electrolyzer price is less, let's say $450 per kilowatt, you will get it. So either you go with the hybrid capacity utilization factor is around 35% solar to wind. Its price is around $4 per kilowatt. If we go with the offshore, then its price is around $4. So when people get the price competitive, when you're I got the thing is that if your renewable prices are, let's say, 2 rupees and 1 rupees, you can get, if your electrolyzer price is $450 per kilowatt, you can competitive with the gray hydrogen price. So my analysis found out that if your renewable energy price is around 2 rupees per kilowatt hour and you got the capacity utilization factor 45% and electrolyzer capacity is $450 per kilowatt, you can competitive with the gray hydrogen price. But the main thing is that if you uh, hybrid both the systems like solar and wind, it associated with the capex cost. So it increases the levelized cost of the electricity as well. How you uh, reduce the price of the renewable energy? So I wanted to highlight the project that I did with the NTPC. They have done the green hydrogen production through decentralized rooftop system using wastewater. So let me tell you the NTPC's Leh project highlight. The location was ideal due to high solar irradiance and low ambient temperature, which boost the solar generation efficiency. The hydrogen was produced using water from sewage treatment plant, which was purified using nanofiltration process, and uh, and 7 megawatt rooftop installation powers 2 megawatt of electrolyzer operating at full capacity for 10 hours, producing 330 kilogram of hydrogen out of which 200 kilogram it is used for the transportation sector and 130 kilogram it is used for the stationary applications. Let's understand their project because it is one of the innovative project in which electricity price went down because of PN Surya Ghar Yojana, in which government decided to give 78,000 rupees subsidy at 3 kilowatt rooftop solar installation system, which impacts significant benefit of the green hydrogen production cost. So what they have done, though image processing, they have identified 2,400 houses is good to install 3 kilowatt system. So 2,000 into 3, it's around 7 megawatt rooftop install. From 7 megawatt of rooftop solar generates 35 megawatt hour. Out of this, 20 megawatt hour will be used daily by the electrolyzer. From 7 megawatt rooftop solar system, the levelized cost of electricity they got 3 rupees per unit. Rest electricity they sell to the grid at average power purchase cost of 4.5 rupees per kilowatt. As it generates additional revenue, again levelized cost of electricity reduce and got 1.34 kilo.
Ms. Veena, 3 more minutes, please.
Sure. I will wrap up the things. So levelized cost of hydrogen we got is 325 rupees per kilogram of hydrogen.
Very good.
So what they have done is that whatever the green hydrogen produce, they use for the stationary applications in the power applications. 6 hydrogen fuel cell buses and the 3 trucks and 3 fuel cells each has equipped with the 34 kilogram and achieve mileage approximately 12 kilometer per kilogram of hydrogen. Under loaded conditions, this drive can range is around 400 kilogram on the single refueling hydrogen system, and other they are using with the stationary power applications. So the fuel cell they rated around 5 to 50 kVA. Hydrogen fuel cell provides clean, efficient, and alternative to diesel generators. Just I wanted to conclude my slides with this motivational lines that hope we grow but lesser emission. Hope we produce more steel than the carbon emission. Hope we manufacture cement with less carbon consumption. Hope we make glass but no pollution. Hope we energize cars with RERTC revolution. Hope we transfer goods through ships with no emission. Hope we produce chemicals without polluting hydrogenation. Hope we captures more carbon than the oil and the gas consumption. Hope we commit ourselves to a green hydrogen led energy transition, and hope we pull out to a greener tomorrow by embracing decarbonization. So let's hope for the success of the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So that's all about me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Veena, and thank you for ending it on a very hopeful note. The hopes and wishes are always there, and we always hope to see to it that the earth which we have received, we leave it as it is to our future generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
So we will break for lunch and we'll reassemble by 1:10. We will be taking a 30 minutes break. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Veena. Innovative Italian startup specializing in alkaline water electrolysis technology. Under his leadership, F2N Green Hydrogen has developed the cornerstone product line, offering compact and efficient electrolyzer stacks for green hydrogen